the vast ocean stretches endlessly, its waves crashing rhythmically. Japanese fishing vessels glide quietly across the wide-open sea like silent warriors. These are resilient fishermen facing the harsh forces of nature day and night in pursuit of giant tuna and swordfish. For them, this is more than just a livelihood. It is their pride, their calling, and their destiny. Their journey begins at bustling seaside ports. Before setting sail, the crew meticulously prepares hundreds of meters of fishing line, razor-sharp hooks, and tons of bait are loaded into the hold. Unlike many other regions that rely on nets, Japanese fishermen stick to a traditional method, a time-honored craft that demands patience, skill, and deep respect for the ocean. As the ship leaves the harbor, they know they are headed for months adrift at sea. Life aboard the boat is a rhythm of repeated tasks, carried out in perfect coordination. Every morning before the sun rises, they wake up, check the lines, prepare the bait, and lower their hooks into the deep waters. Tuna and swordfish are fierce predators, never easy to catch. Each time a line trembles, the whole crew springs into action. When a fish bites, the real battle begins. The fishermen haul in the line inch by inch, wrestling with a creature that can weigh hundreds of kilograms. It can take hours, even days, to bring a single fish onto the deck. Their hands and feet ache, sweat pours down their faces, yet their eyes still shine with pride. Each bluefin tuna or 2-meter-long swordfish represents the reward of relentless effort. But the ocean is not always generous. There are days of violent waves and howling winds, when the ship rocks so fiercely it feels like it could be swallowed whole. On freezing, endless nights, they stay awake to guard the lines, silently waiting. And sometimes, after weeks at sea, they return empty-handed because the fish never came. But Japanese fishermen never give up. They believe in the ocean, in fate, and in their own strength. Life aboard the boat is also a miniature society. These men, far from home, must take care of one another, cooking meals, repairing the ship, and sharing small stories to ease their homesickness. They speak of near-death experiences in storms, epic battles with giant fish, or simple dreams of returning to land. Laughter, songs, and moments of silent reflection create a unique world in the heart of the ocean. When the ship returns to port, the fresh catch is brought ashore, ready to be transformed into premium sashimi. The rich, fatty tuna melts in the mouth. Japanese fishermen are not just fishers, they are artisans, preserving a centuries-old tradition. Each fish is more than food. It is a piece of culture, a story of perseverance, and a deep love for the sea. Then the cycle begins again. The ship departs, and the lines are once more cast into the ocean. The life of a Japanese fisherman is a constant rhythm between sea and land, between danger and glory. They never know when they'll get to rest, yet the fire of passion for the craft, the ocean, and the mighty fish continues to burn in their hearts. These are the ocean's marvels, and they are fortunate to encounter them. And so, the ship glides on through the waves. The fishermen remain steadfast, and the ocean remains their second home. There, they find both hardship and joy, sorrow and pride. This is the life of Japanese fishermen, quiet souls standing under the night sky at sea, shining like stars in the dark. They leave the harbor in silence before the sky has even begun to lighten. The 30-meter-long vessel, heavy with the smell of diesel and salt-soaked sweat, cuts quietly through the waves, heading for the vast Pacific. This is not a short trip or a fleeting adventure. It is a months-long expedition where each fisherman must endure the harshness of the sea, profound loneliness, and the challenge of landing a bluefin tuna weighing over 100 kilograms, known as the gold of the ocean. Everything is carefully arranged. Kilometers of fishing line are coiled neatly into blue plastic bins. Each line as thick as a man's wrist, strong enough to withstand tons of force. Razor-sharp stainless steel hooks are rigged with shiny plastic lures to attract predatory fish from hundreds of meters below the surface. Japanese fishermen do not use sweeping nets, out of respect for every living creature in the sea. Each fish they catch is the result of a true test of strength and strategy. At sunrise, the captain, usually the most experienced on board, stands over the satellite map, squinting to track the warm ocean currents. They are hunting bluefin tuna, a migratory species with sleek, torpedo-like bodies that glimmer with a silvery blue shine. A mature tuna can grow up to 3 meters long and weigh as much as 400 kilograms. To catch them, the fishermen must drop their lines nearly 200 meters deep, where the water pressure is strong enough to crush a coconut. When someone shouts, "Fish on the line!" the whole boat erupts with excitement. The line whips and shakes violently as the reel spins at full speed. The crew rushes onto the deck, their eyes shining with anticipation. This is the moment they've waited months for. A young fisherman, his muscles hardened by years of hauling nets, straps himself in and grabs the metal rod connected to the line. He faces the fish directly, hundreds of meters below, where a giant bluefin tuna is thrashing with wild fury, refusing to surrender. Its strength is enough to topple a grown man. If the fisherman loses his grip, the line could snap back with devastating force. Blood trickles from his hands where the line has rubbed his skin raw, but he refuses to let go. This is a battle between man and the raw power of nature. After nearly 2 hours of struggle, the fish finally breaks the surface. A breathtaking creature, sleek and powerful like a missile, shimmering in metallic blue and silver. It continues to thrash, its tail splashing seawater high into the air. An experienced fisherman steps forward with a wooden mallet and delivers a quick, humane strike to the fish's head. The battle ends, but the work is just beginning. The tuna is hauled onto a special cutting table. In the hands of skilled fishermen, razor-sharp knives move swiftly and precisely. The pink belly meat, the most prized cut for sashimi, is carefully separated. Bright red blood mixes with seawater, painting strange patterns across the deck. Within 15 minutes, the entire fish is processed, and the precious meat is stored in a deep freezer at 60 degrees to preserve its freshness. As night falls, the boat sinks into silence. After a grueling day, the fishermen gather in the common room, sipping warm sake and swapping stories of the biggest fish ever caught, or the fiercest storms they've weathered. In one corner, a young fisherman quietly looks at a photo of his family, a wave of homesickness washing over him. It's only been 2 weeks at sea, but it already feels like a year away from home. Captain Tanaka sits alone in the wheelhouse, staring out into the dark ocean. After 40 years aboard ships like this one, the image of his father, also a captain, lingers in his mind, along with the first lesson he ever taught him. The ocean gives life, but it can take everything away. His father's voice echoes in his memory. Tanaka runs his fingers over his scarred hands, marks from thousands of lines pulled, and hundreds of brushes with death. As the night deepens, the sound of waves slapping the hull grows louder. The ship sways like a massive cradle, but no one truly sleeps. Every few hours, the fishermen take turns checking the lines, monitoring the radar, and watching for sharks that might steal their hard-earned catch. Dawn returns. The sun peaks over the horizon, setting the sea ablaze in red. The lines are cast once again, and hope is rekindled. Maybe today they'll land a half-ton tuna worth hundreds of millions of yen. Or maybe they'll return empty-handed. Either way, when the boat docks, the fresh fish will be sent immediately to the markets in Tsukiji or Toyosu. There, expert cutters slice the meat into delicate sashimi, placing it neatly on wooden trays to be served in Tokyo's finest restaurants. After receiving their well-earned wages, the fishermen prepare to head back out to sea. They never stop sailing because the ocean is their home, their lifeblood, and their destiny. Japanese fishing vessels continue to glide across the waves, silent warriors of the deep. Somewhere far off, the fishing line quivers again, signaling a new battle between man and the sea. White waves crash against the hull. Seawater splashes over the wooden deck, a never-ending song of the ocean. Aboard a 40-meter-long vessel rocking with the waves, a group of Japanese fishermen readies to hunt bluefin tuna, the gold of the sea. The sharp scent of salty sweat blends with the ocean breeze, creating the unmistakable aroma of life at sea. That scent seeps into their muscles and sinews, shaped by decades of struggling with the sea. The boat is a compact world of its own, where every centimeter is used. In the cramped wheelhouse, complex control panels and glowing radar screens track schools of fish. Toward the rear is the frozen fish processing area, kept at a constant 60 degrees to preserve the valuable catch. Further back lies the shared living space, where these men, far from home, gather after long hours, sharing cigarettes and warm sake in the bitter cold. Captain Tanaka, 55, weathered by sun and sea, stands behind the wheel. His sun-darkened face is worn with years of experience, and his eyes seem to pierce the ocean's depths, reading the subtle movements of fish far below. When he gives the order to drop the lines, the entire crew moves like a well-oiled machine. Coils of 100-meter fishing lines are lowered in rhythm, each strung with hundreds of sharp hooks, suspended between 50 and 200 meters deep. The hunting grounds of bluefin tuna. Under the blazing sun, the deck temperature can soar to 104 degrees. Sweat pours down their faces, but the fishermen press on, driven by tradition and pride, without complaint. They work in near silence, exchanging only brief words, each movement as precise as a dance rehearsed thousands of times. Suddenly, the alarm bell blares. Fish on the line. The crew rushes to the deck as the line whips and the reel roars. It's a big one. Captain Tanaka quickly adjusts the ship's direction to reduce tension on the line. The two strongest fishermen strap in and grip the metal rod connected to the line. Deep below, a 660-pound, 300 kg, bluefin tuna thrashes, strong enough to drag a grown man overboard. The friction burns their hands, drawing blood. But no one lets go. This is a battle between man and nature. After nearly 2 hours of struggle, the fish surfaced, a magnificent creature, sleek and torpedo-shaped, shimmering with silver-blue hues. It thrashed violently, tail slapping the water and spraying it across the deck. A seasoned fisherman approached with a wooden mallet and delivered a swift, humane blow to end its fight. The work continued without pause. The fish was hauled onto the cutting table, where skilled hands wielded razor-sharp knives to slice out the prized belly meat, perfect for sashimi. Blood mixed with seawater, painting strange patterns across the deck. Within just 15 minutes, the fish was processed, its precious meat stored in a 60-degree-C freezer. As night fell, the boat slipped into silence. The crew gathered in the common room, sipping warm sake and swapping tales of giant fish and terrifying storms. In one corner, a young fisherman gazed quietly at a photo of his family, homesickness welling up inside him. Though it had only been 2 weeks at sea, it felt like a year. Meanwhile, Captain Tanaka sat alone in the wheelhouse, staring out at the dark ocean. After 40 years at sea, memories of his father, also a captain, surfaced. He had once told him, "The ocean gives life, but it can also take everything away." The captain's scarred hands told the story of thousands of lines pulled and hundreds of brushes with death. The sound of waves crashing against the hull grew louder in the deep of night. The boat rocked gently, like a giant cradle, but no one truly slept. Every few hours, the fishermen took turns checking the lines and monitoring the radar, watching out for sharks trying to steal their catch. At dawn, the sea blazed red beneath the rising sun. The lines were cast once more, a new wave of hope rising with them. Maybe today they'd catch a half-ton tuna worth billions of yen. Or maybe they'd come up empty. Either way, when they returned to port, the fresh fish would head straight to Tokyo's Tsukiji or Toyosu markets, where expert chefs would slice it paper-thin for the city's finest restaurants. After collecting their pay, the fishermen set sail again. They never stop, because the ocean is their home, their lifeblood, their destiny. Japanese fishing boats continue to ride the waves, silent warriors of the sea. In the distance, the line quivers once more, signaling the start of another battle between man and the ocean. White-capped waves slap the hull. Seawater floods the wooden deck. An eternal song of the deep.